Peace. Shalom, shalom. Welcome. Another day to get back in the Word and see what the Most High got that we need. And today, what the Spirit gave me to go through was the destruction of the two nations after the crucifixion of Brother Jesus. And we're going to see how over here in the Americas, we got destroyed the same way that over there in Jerusalem, they got destroyed and they got placed in bondage and captivity to the Gentiles first before the Most High sent the Gentiles over here to get us. But we're going to see how the Most High just and fair, and he treat both nations the same. And the same way he punished us, it's the same thing that's on the way to the Gentiles, because they just as wicked as we was. But we're gonna see the truth of what's been hidden about how it's gonna make more sense on some of the prophecies, the things that the prophets said, and whereas the Bible don't necessarily show the story as far as what happened and how we got destroyed over there and wiped out of the land, which is why don't nobody know that the Jews in Jerusalem was the so-called black people at one time. They only see the ones that's there now. So we're gonna get the answers to some of the questions right here, and we're gonna see more so how the Most High punish and bless, and what he mean by if we don't follow his ways, he gonna put them hands on us spiritually, because the Most High is not a respecter of flesh. Alright, so we're gonna start and we're gonna get the definition of Jerusalem. Because when people heard Jerusalem, they just think about the land or whatnot over there now. But they don't realize that Jerusalem also means the people or whatnot. Sometimes. Sometimes when it's saying Jerusalem, he's speaking to us. He's not always talking about the city. Sometimes he's referring to us, his people. So his parts, that's another thing that's not pointed out to people or whatnot. So it's like anytime you heard Jerusalem, you just got to see what context is being used. Whether he's referring to the city, Jerusalem, or whether he's referring to the people. But I just to expound and make it so to see the spiritual side, more of a spiritual side also, we're going to use the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary right quick. We're going to go in here and get a definition of Jerusalem. But this going to keep it spiritual so we can see the spiritual and the physical, because you got to tie both together. So we need to get a little more spiritual understanding here, so I can help my carnal-minded brothers and sisters come up out of that song. Alright, so Jerusalem, habitation of peace, dwelling place of peace, possession of peace, foundation of peace, constitution of harmony, vision of peace, abode of prosperity. Alright. Jerusalem means habitation of peace. In man, it is the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace, which is the result of continuous realizations of spiritual power, tempered with spiritual poise and confidence. Jerusalem is the city of David, which symbolizes the great nerve center just back of the heart. From this point, spirit senses radiance to all parts of the body. Alright, so keep in mind when Jerusalem got destroyed, it also destroyed, that was the physical destruction, but it was a spiritual destruction too that took place within all his people, all of us. All of Israel felt it. The ones that was over there in that land, also the ones of us over here in this land. And that's what we're gonna see. all of us spiritually felt it, and the Most High put hands on all of us spiritually, and he enhanced the Gentiles, the Romans at that time. Alright, so let me go to that again. Jerusalem means habitation of peace. And man, it is the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace. Because remember, all things is done through peace. The Most High said that. When you're not at peace, you can't do your work like you're supposed to do when you're not at peace. And you're supposed to be at peace and harmony within to get your work done. And man, it is the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace, which is the result of continuous realizations of spiritual power, tempered with spiritual poise and confidence. Alright? And to get to that point right there that we just read, spiritual peace, which is the result of continuous realizations of spiritual power, tempered with spiritual poise and confidence. The one way to that, or to Jerusalem, the city of peace, is the Christ way. Perfect expression of all the mental faculties under the dominion of the I Am. We all long for the state in which we should have peace. Jeru, the first part of Jerusalem, means founding, constituting. Salem, the latter part of the word, means peace, quiet, safety, harmony, prosperity. We are on the way to the attainment of peace when we identify ourselves with the Christ idea, originally called the Most High I Am. Alright, so that's the spiritual aspect within us right there that we need to hold on to. Let's see. Let me get some more of this right here. Hold on. We're gonna leave that right there. Cause they give you, the guy that wrote it, he do a good job, but he just give you multiple breakdowns of the metaphysical aspects of certain words, spiritual aspects. So that's all we need from right there. So keep in mind, that's the spiritual implications of Jerusalem when the Most High speaking on us. Alright, and then the physical aspect is the city. Alright, so we lost our peace because we ain't listened to the Most High. When you following the Most High, and that go back to Deuteronomy 28, when the blessings and the curses or whatnot. When we follow the Most High and do what He told us to do and follow His commandments the ways He laid out, we go along in peace and we prosper or whatnot. But when we be hard-headed and don't listen, like the Most High say, speaking about us, not the Gentiles, speaking on us, we are rebellious and peculiar people. And he can't understand how he know, because Most High know all things, but the reason, the way we act, the Most High say we peculiar and we are rebellious people. And that's what He told His prophets, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, when He told them to go to us. He told them, we just stiff-necked. Stiff-necked mean hard-headed, because we don't like to listen or whatnot. And we start off following, doing right or whatnot, but then we just drift off and get into the world. And the Most High know that. So that's why He laid it out for us ahead of time, the blessings and the cursings. So when we follow and listen, He prospers, and can't nobody do nothing with us. Can't nobody do nothing to us. Well, being disobedient, being hard-headed, the Most High got to take that spiritual belt off and put hands on us. He gotta get us back in line. So that's what happened with us, whereas we always blaming white folks, aka the Gentiles. We blame them for what they doing to us and everything, but we don't realize if we read the scriptures, it's in there. The Most High say that He gonna send them on us. The Most High got sense of Him. We don't want to listen to Him. That's cool. He gonna send them white folks on us and make us listen to them and put them in authority over us. And we didn't want Him to be the head of us, authority over us. We didn't want the Christ to be the head of us because we the ones that got the Romans to crucify the Christ because we didn't want to listen to him. So it's like the Most High got tired of playing with us. So we didn't want to listen to the Most High. We didn't want to follow our big brother Jesus. The Most High said, okay, I got something for y'all. Y'all gonna follow the Gentiles. And they gonna put hands on you. And I'm gonna just listen to you cry and complain until you realize and come back to me and realize that my way is the way to peace. The way that y'all prosper and y'all protection and everything. And that's in Deuteronomy right there. Deuteronomy 28, when it go into our blessings and our cursings. But in the Mormon book, it go into the blessings and cursings of the Gentiles. Because even though they stole all and took all our writings and all our history and everything, they don't apply them. They just put themselves in our positions and say that they was us. But they don't realize that they falling into the same trap that we fell. And even though the Most High blessed them for a time period and gave us over to them and everything we had, it was only for a time period or whatnot. Because now, what's going on in the world, the time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. And now the nations, the other nations, not us, because we ain't got none of everything that God took for us. The Most High gave away all our lands, our possessions, and everything. So now, this right here, what's going on now, is for the other nations. And they gonna learn the hard way, the same way we had to learn. And all this is setting up for Brother Jesus to make his return and set everything right. So by us seeing the destruction now and what happened to us when Christ got crucified, you gonna see more so the same thing that's going on now when he coming back, and it's all setting up for it. And it happened on both nations, but we only know that it happened to Jerusalem over there. But we set up Jerusalems everywhere we went. So it was Jerusalems all through the Americas, the same way they set up more than one Jerusalem over there. But it was just the one that we tried to focus on or whatnot. So we're going to stay right there right now. And we're going to look at it from two sides, spiritual and physical. And we're going to show the things that happened to us after Christ was crucified over there first. We're going to start with what happened in the land of Judah. Then we're going to go to what happened in the land of Ephraim. And that's why I called it the destruction of the two nations. And if we've been following along, like in the other videos, the one that was Know Ye Not That There Are Two Nations, we showed how there was two lands. The Most High always spoke to Ephraim and Judah throughout the book. And Ephraim had a land and Judah had a land. Alright, so we're going to see how he put hands on the ones over there first before we show how he put hands on us over here. And let's go to the book of Isaiah. So we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, the Lord of hosts does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. And now let's go down to verse 8. For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Most High, to provoke the eyes of his glory. Alright, so we're going to see how what the Most High did to us, we provoked them into it or whatnot by our disobedience and our wickedness. So that was Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1 and verse 8. Next, we're going to get a precept out of the book of Tobit. Tobit is in the Apocrypha. So we're going to go to Tobit chapter 13 and verse 9. I'm going to start right there. Tobit chapter 13 verse 9 out the Apocrypha. O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy children's works, and he is the Most High. O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy children's works, and will have mercy again on the sons of the righteous. Alright. 10. Give praise to the Most High, for he is good. And praise the everlasting King, that his tabernacle may be builded in thee again with joy. And let him make joyful there in thee those that are captives, and love in thee forever those that are miserable. Many nations should come from far to the name of the Most High with gifts in their hands, even gifts to the King of heaven. All generations shall praise thee with great joy. Cursed are all they which hate thee, and blessed shall all be which love thee forever. Rejoice and be glad for the children of the just, for they shall be gathered together and shall bless the Lord of the just. O blessed are they which love thee, for they shall rejoice in thy peace. Thy peace is thy prosperity. Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all thy scourges, for they shall rejoice for thee when they have seen all thy glory, and shall be glad forever. I'm going to go back to that one part again right here. Blessed are they which have been sorrowful for all thy scourges. That's the repentful ones. The ones that can repent and sorrowful for what they done did. For they shall rejoice for thee when they have seen all thy glory, and shall be glad forever. Let my soul bless God, the great King, the Most High. All right. And we're going to tie that right there. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 33. And we're going to start at verse 28. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 28. For I will lay the land most desolate. And this is the Most High speaking. For I will lay the land most desolate, and the pomp of her strength shall cease. And the mountains of Israel shall be desolate, that none shall pass through. Then shall they know that I am the Most High, when I have laid the land most desolate because of all their abominations which they have committed. Alright. So the Most High is saying right here that he about to lay the land over there desolate. The land of Judah, where Jerusalem, that got destroyed, where his temple was built up. He's telling them right here, he gonna lay the land most desolate. He gonna destroy that land over there. And cause being that we hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious and peculiar, like the Most High say, that's why in 29 he say, then shall they, speaking on us, then shall they know that I am the Lord, when I have laid the land most desolate because of all their abominations which they have committed. Because we like to play with the Most High. He'll bless us and we'll change for a second, but we'll keep on going in our iniquity. And the Most High said, you got to purify your spirit. You can't help usher in the kingdom of the Most High and still be sneaking out trying to play with Satan. You can't play on both teams. The Most High said you can't serve two masters. So I mean, if you gonna enjoy the things of Satan, but then try to work for the kingdom, that's a clash. That's a clash within you spiritually or whatnot. And the Most High ain't gonna let it go. He just gonna wipe it out. He gonna destroy you. Let Satan take care of you, and then you're not gonna reap your blessings that you're supposed to. And us. Now we got the attitude of everybody as an individual. We don't realize how we are connected. And the Most High destroy all us as a unit. The Most High deal with the team. He raised up individuals, but when we get punished as a team for what we did. Just like the Gentiles right now, they're getting punished as a collective. The nations, aside from us, all the nations that ran against us, like it said in the book of Psalms, in Psalms 83 and 4, in that part right there, let's go there. All the nations that ran against us. Let me get that right quick. Psalms 83 and 4. Psalms 83 and 4. Well, let's start at verse 3. Psalms 83.
I find it hard to say.
In verse 3. They have, speaking on the other nations. We can start at verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, against us, against Israel, against Jerusalem. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Now we over here got no sense of identity over here. We don't have no idea who we were. They completely cut us off. But they started to work on our brothers across the water. But when they came here, they just went all in with us and wiped us to where we don't have no identity of who we is no more. And it's all the nations, as you see throughout the scriptures. It's not just the so-called white people. It's the Arabs, the Indians, the Chinese, the Koreans. And this ain't nothing against the Gentiles, because it's the truth. It's nothing poking fun at nobody or no hate. It's just the truth of the scriptures. The ones that's in control, they have set it all up. And the Most High told us. Those are because the Gentiles ain't just the so-called white folks, the Koreans, Japanese, Chinese, all them nations that it's in the book of Genesis to get the lands or whatnot. All them lands over there, they didn't conspire against us. And they all hide who we are and that we was the original people in all these lands or whatnot. They came against us to keep us down, which the Most High gave them their blessing for a time period because we ran everything before, and the Most High is just. He gave us our time to run the world, knowing what we was going to do. So to punish us, he gave all our stuff to the other nations and gave them their chance to run the world. And now at the end, Brother Jesus is going to come back, and it's that he's just going to pick the righteous that came to the truth out of Jews and Gentiles, out of us and the other nations. He just gonna pick the righteous spirits, and those are gonna be the ones that's gonna be in the next kingdom. It's not just gonna be a kingdom of Jews and Gentiles gonna be serving us. It's gonna be the righteous out of all. Because remember, the Most High said that the wild branches could get drafted into with us. All right, we'll show that in another video. I ain't mean to get off topic, but just trying to show more of the picture to tie it together to give a vision to somebody that may not understand what's going on, and they want to know it from the aspect of what the Most High done told us. So we're gonna start back at 3. They had taken crafty counsel against that people, because we don't know they doing it, and we just all the way lost. It's part of the reason we couldn't read for a long time. And they dumbed us down with their education that's made up and their history that's made up. They are taking crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. All right, the United Nations. They all have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Alright, so they all then linked up the tag team to hide who we are, and it just make us out to be the heathen of the world. Like they said, savages when they got over here, to hide the truth of who we was, that we was the Most High people, and that Christ, brother Jesus, he was one of us. He wasn't the white Jesus that everybody think he was. And it is different scriptures. Daniel 10 and 6, Revelations 1 and 15, Revelations 2 and 18, that they get descriptions of Christ, and it's in the book of Aki, book of Daniel. Christ used to come to us before he got put in the flesh. It was spiritually, he came and consulted with people, because back then we was more spiritual, so we could see spirits, more so to say, for lack of a better word, and the spirits would come and contact us. Whereas now we don't have no spiritual understanding no more, so we wouldn't be able to process. But back then it was a whole different ball game. It was a whole different time period spiritually. We was more in tune. All right, so coming from Ezekiel 33, when we just saw how the Most High said we was gonna be that he was gonna leave the land desolate for our wickedness. All right, so now let's go to see what Brother Jesus told us before the destruction came. We're gonna go to the book of Matthew, chapter 23. Matthew, chapter 23. And we're gonna start at verse 37. Matthew 23:37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. Alright, so we can see right here, he's not speaking to the city. He's not speaking about necessarily the city. He's talking to the people. Basically, the people who are the city, who make up the city. Everywhere we went, we created a Jerusalem, if you look into it. But he's speaking to us. Alright, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. Alright, because as you go through the scriptures, we always killed our own. And when the Most High sent somebody to us, like in the book of Judges, whenever the Most High sent somebody to us to raise us up, we won't trying to hear it. We won't trying to hear it from Ezekiel. We won't trying to hear it from Jeremiah. We won't trying to hear it from Isaiah. We won't trying to hear it from none of the prophets that the Most High sent to tell us about our actions and to fix us up and correct us. We won't trying to hear it. We don't like. That's why the Most High say we hard headed and we prideful. We prideful and we don't want nobody telling us that we ain't living right. And that's part of the reason why it was us that was telling Christ he had a devil in him and that he was part of the devil team. We weren't trying to hear what he was saying when he was trying to correct us spiritually. Even the Pharisees and the Sadducees, because it would take away from their money and it went against the church. Christ taught against the church because what the church was teaching wasn't the truth. The teachers that were teaching for the church, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they was profiting off the people. Because if they gave the people the truth, they would see that they also weren't living right. The Pharisees and Sadducees. Alright, so 37. Matthew 23:37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stones them which are sent unto thee. Unto who? Unto Jerusalem, unto us. Alright? So this right here showing, like I said, it represents the people also. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stones them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, and ye would not? Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Alright? So Brother Jesus telling us right here, the same thing that the Most High said. Your house, our land, over there is going to be left unto us desolate. Alright, so now let's go over to 24. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And that's speaking about the city of Jerusalem. Alright, so at verse 37, he was talking to the people, which is us, the people that was of the land over there at that time. And then in verse 2, he's speaking about the city. There shall not be left here one stone upon another that should not be thrown down. Jerusalem is fitting to be destroyed. Alright. So now, next precept we're going to get here. Let's go to Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 1. And all this is leading up to we gonna read and see what happened when the Romans started putting hands on us, because the Most High sent them to get us. The Most High said get them, and they got us. And that part we don't necessarily see in detail in the Bible. So we're gonna pull it from the other books that the Most High provided for us to see it. And we're gonna see how gruesome it got and how they really put a thorough job on us. The Most High sent his henchmen and they went to work. Lamentations chapter 1. And we're gonna start at verse 1. This Jeremiah speaking about Jerusalem. How does the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? Go down to 3. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction. No, let's go on to 2. I'm gonna start over. We're gonna read on down. Starting at 1. Chapter 1, verse 1. How does the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow? She that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she have none to comfort her. All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She finds no rest, no peace, no prosperity. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. All right. So we see right here Jeremiah saying, and how it's happened to Jerusalem numerous times. Let's go over to 7. Let's scroll on down to verse 7. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversary saw her and did mock at her Sabbath. Jerusalem hath grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness. The Most High didn't expose us. Yet she sighed and turneth backwards. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy have magnified himself. The adversary has spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things. For she has seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou did command that they should not enter into thy congregation. All her people sigh, they seek bread. They have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, O Lord, and consider, for I am become vile. Alright, so we see right here where the Most High was destroying. The Most High got tired of playing games with us because of our own doings. And let's go over chapter 4. Still Lamentations chapter 4. Go to verse 6. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom. And we always like to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah and how the Most High destroyed them for their wickedness and their nastiness. And we don't realize Jerusalem, what we did is the reason nobody know that we was the inhabitants, the so-called black people in Jerusalem before the people that's over there now. Is the reason the Most High went to work on us. The Most High put us, like it said, out of remembrance to where we don't know The world don't know that we was there, but the Most High left the history and headed up to where when we came back and the Most High woke us up and our time of affliction was over, we was going to get to the truth, to see it, and put all the pieces together, the pieces of the puzzle. Alright? For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, which we like to talk about, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hands stayed on her.
I find it hard to say.
Alright, let's go to chapter 5. Chapter 5, starting at verse 1. Remember, O Lord, what is come upon us? Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless, our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money, our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution, we labor and have no rest. 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that does deliver us out of their hand. Alright. Let's go down to 11. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their hand. The faces of elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind, and the children fell under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music. The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning. The crown is falling from our head. The crown is falling from our head. The Most High crowned us. The Most High gave us dominion over the whole world. And this is something that the other nations they hear over now. Whereas right now, we can't see how because we on the bottom and everybody else that see us, that grew up over the last few hundred years under the lies of the system, see us under the bottom. They don't know that the Most High crowned us. We had the crown at the beginning. The crown is falling from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned. For this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. Alright. So right there, now we see what the Most High did to us, how he took everything and gave it to the Gentiles. And that's something that we always blaming the white man, saying that white folks doing this and white folks doing that. But we don't realize the Most High did this. There's nothing that they could do to us that the Most High didn't set up. The Most High set it up for them to do everything that they did to us. And he told us that he was going to bring them on us, a nation from a faraway land. Speaking on us over here, but it started with them over there. Alright. And just to show that even more, let's go to, before we show how they put hands on us, let's go to Romans chapter 9. Romans chapter 9, Brother Paul. And we're going to show this right here, how once again, it was us. We're going to start at verse 1, and we're just going to read on down a little bit. Romans chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Alright, so Brother Paul right here saying, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Alright, so he's speaking. Brother Paul he was one of us. Alright, and we gonna see it right here, and he gonna confirm it with the next verse. Start at 3 again. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Alright? The Israelites. Us. The Jews. Jerusalem. That's all us right there. That's not the Gentiles. Because it's always Jew versus Gentile. You Google Jew versus everything Jew versus Gentile, because you had the Jews, not the people that's over there now, the ancient Jews. Like we in the video we did with the Know Ye Not that there are two nations. The Most High said, my ancient covenant people. We his ancient covenant people. That's why our understanding of the scriptures is different from everybody else, the ones that the Most High then opened up to share it with the rest of the family, so that we all can grow in it and edify one another and point it out to each other. So Paul was an Israelite. He was one of us, the Jews, the Hebrews. Alright? 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertains the adoption. The adoption is the election, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. Alright? The Most High didn't get none of this through the Gentiles. All of this was given through us. And as we read in Lamentations, the crown was on our head. That's why Christ, what they say, the King of the Jews, he wasn't a Gentile. He wasn't the King of the Gentiles. He was the King of the Jews, the King of the Hebrews. All right, because we had the crown, but he was the King. All right. So let's start at 3 again and come on down to help get somebody a vision. Hopefully this gives somebody a vision to where now they can see it more clearly. And you're going to be able to see it more clearly when we get into the graphic detail of what happened when the Most High unleashed them on us over there. And then we'll see later on what happened when he unleashed them on us over here. Alright? Start at 3 again. Brother Paul. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, who are Hebrews, to whom pertains the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of God, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh, and of whom as concerning the flesh Christ came, and of whom as concerning the flesh brother Jesus came, who is over all, the head honcho, the King of kings, the Lord of lords. Brother Jesus, the King of the Jews. Alright? So that's right here telling you Christ came to his brethren. And remember what Christ said? Let's hold on here. We're gonna precept that right there too. Hold on here. Let's go to John. I'm going to tie John what we just read about Christ coming to his brethren in the flesh. And Paul said he was speaking of the Israelites. John chapter 1, my fault. John chapter 1, and we're going to start in verse 10. John chapter 1, verse 10. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Speaking on us. Part of the reason that the Most High punished us. We ain't want to listen to the Most High. We ain't want to listen to our big brother Jesus. The Most High said, y'all gonna listen to them Gentiles. Y'all gonna listen to them white folks. Y'all don't want to listen to us. I got something for y'all. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God. To them gave he power to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. of the Most High spiritually. All right. Then let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Matthew 15:24. Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Alright? He was only sent unto the house of Israel. And that tied back to what Paul said in Romans. Who is his kinsman according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertains the election and the glory and the covenants, the Abrahamic covenants was with us. And the giving of the law, the prophets, were us. The Most High only sent his prophets to teach the law, who were Israelites, who were Jews, the Hebrews, in the service of the Most High, and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came, who is over all. God bless forever. Amen. Alright, so right there, that explains how Brother Jesus was sent to us, but we won't try to hear it. Alright, let me show you this is a little card I got with the old Coptic picture of the Christ. The people that running stuff, they know what Brother Jesus look like. They know who he is. That's why the Most High word, the truth is the word. Alright, the Most High told us they was going to conspire against y'all. They was going to hide the truth of the scriptures. They was going to hide it all. Just hide it. Hide everything. Alright, now we going to go. This is my book right here. View of the Hebrews. This is my book right here. This Gentile that wrote this, he left it for us to find. Because there's some good stuff in here. View of the Hebrews. Alright. By Ethan Smith. This book ain't expensive. It's only like $10. You can get it on eBay or Amazon. It should still be on there. But View of the Hebrews 1825. And it started at the beginning showing how they put hands on us. Chapter 1. Destruction of Jerusalem. Now remember what we read out the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary spiritually, because it destroyed us spiritually as well as physically. The city of Jerusalem was destroyed, and it destroyed us over here also. Alright, so let's start there, and we're gonna see, because they confirmed when the Jerusalem over there was destroyed, the 10 tribes of Israel had renounced the house of David and were hence banished to some unknown region of the world to the present day. Alright, and this is according to the Gentiles, because this is the way they started the book, and then the people in this book go through confirming why the 10 tribes of Israel had to be the ones of us that was in the Americas or whatnot. So that's just how they started off with speaking on the destruction of Jerusalem. Then they go through showing and proving how the Indians, the descendants of the Indians also had to be of the 10 tribes. Alright, so this city of God long answered well to his name. Jeru, they shall see. Salem, peace. Long did the church, while they walked with the Most High, there see and enjoy peace. But alas, we found recorded of this city, temple, and nation of the Jews a fatal reverse. They found the sentiment in their sacred oracles fulfilled, speaking on the words of the prophets. The Lord is with you while you be with him, but if you forsake him, he will cast you off. The Jews, the Hebrews, became carnal, crucified the Lord of glory, because we the ones that wanted Brother Jesus crucified. The Romans didn't care. The Romans weren't concerned with our laws and none of that. It was us. We weren't trying to hear it. And because it was against the law of Moses for us to do it, we got the Jews. We got the Romans to do it. crucified the Lord of glory, and they fell under denunciations in the full execution of his wrath, the wrath of the Most High, because we the ones that wanted our brother man who came to save us and teach us the ways back to the Most High. We wanted him dead because we weren't trying to hurt it. Like I said, we had became carnal, and once you become carnal, spiritual things don't make no sense to you, and you're not trying to hurt. So the only way back to the Most High is through the Spirit, because the Most High is a spirit, and them that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Speaking on Jerusalem, here were the city and the temple to be destroyed for the infidelity, malice, hypocrisy, and persecution of the Lord of glory. Speaking on Christ, which characterized its rulers, the rulers of Jerusalem, and people, the people of Jerusalem. Speaking on us. All right, and we're gonna start off because they show how Christ has said. Hold on. Christ has said in the. Let's go. I can get that. That's in Matthew. Hold on. Let me show that while we at it. Now we're gonna start to show how they went to work on us and how the Most High unleashed them on us. And you see how also things happen twice with us. It happened back then, and it's happened again in the later times. Because Jesus was sending the meridian in the middle of the time. Jesus, Yahweh Shai, Yehoshua, Yeshaya, whatever name you adhere to and you got faith in for the Christ, that's the name that, just take it for that name. I know that it won't no letter J, and some brothers be like, his name won't Jesus, yada yada, and that's cool, but we gonna use brother Jesus. That's what the words say. But it's all in whichever one you got faith on, honestly. That's all that matter, whatever name, because you take the name of Jesus and somebody got true faith in that name, and somebody use the name Yeshaya and they don't have faith in that name, they not gonna have the power that the brother that got faith in the name of Jesus use. They not gonna have that power. And many people that done called on Jesus and received their deliverance and seen that they can call on that name and it's true and it works. All right, so don't nag on the brothers and sisters that still use that name that they comfortable with, because it is power in that name, because you calling on the Spirit. The Most High in Christ adhere to different names. So depending on the name, as long as they got faith in it, they still gonna receive what they asking for. All right, so we're gonna start where it said in Matthew 20:24, where he told them. He was telling them how they gonna be deceived, and he had told them, "Take heed that no man deceive you, for many should come in my name, saying I am Christ." So he was warning them. That's in Matthew 24, verse 4 and 5. Matthew 24, verse 4 and 5. And Yeshaya answered and said unto them, "Take heed that no man deceive you. For many should come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." Alright, and the Bible just leave off right there. But we're going to get examples right here. We're going to get examples right here in this book that tell how it was ones that came over there in that land and that received the following. Alright, so not long after Christ's ascension, the Samaritan Dositheus appeared and declared himself the Messiah, predicted by Moses. Simon Magus also declared himself the great power of God. Soon after, another impostor appeared from the mongrel Samaritans. This impostor promised to exhibit to the people sacred utensils said to be deposited by Moses in Mount Gerizim. Armed multitudes sallied forth to follow this Messiah, confident their great deliverer had at last made his appearance. But Pilate, the Roman governor, checked their fanaticism with the sword and put this fancy Messiah to death. Alright, so we showing how Christ's words came true over there after he was crucified. And this all leading up to the things that he told them that was going to happen. It happened over there. And then also in the later times, like he said, it's false Christ that's all out here now or whatnot. But this was right after he transitioned, after he got crucified. This was right after over there, as Jerusalem was about to get tore all the way down. Alright. Another imposter, Theudas, arose. He had the address to persuade multitudes to follow him into the wilderness, under his promise that he would cause the river Jordan to divide. The Roman procurator Fidus, with a troop of horse, pursued them, slew the impostor and many others, and dispersed the faction. The vigilant eye of the Roman governor rested on these impostors and was sure to frustrate their designs as often as they appeared. So there's a lot of people at that time trying to play off of, because they knew the scriptures back then. They were trying to play off of it and call themselves Christ, and just like the brother told us, to deceive the people and to deceive us. But the Romans weren't going for it. In the year 55 arose a notable Egyptian impostor named Felix. 30,000 followed him, under the persuasion that from Mount Olivet they should see the walls of Jerusalem fall to the ground at his command, for their easy capture of the Roman garrison there, and they had taken possession of Jerusalem. They were attacked by the Roman governor. 400 were slain, and the rest dispersed. The Egyptian impostor escaped for his life. Alright. In the year 60, and this is 60 AD, another pretending Messiah appeared, engaging to break the Roman yoke, and they would follow him into the wilderness. But the deceiver and his followers soon fell a sacrifice to the vigilance of Festus, the governor. They were a just retribution of righteous heaven upon the Jews, the Hebrews, for having rejected and put to death the true Messiah. Alright, so they know what we did, and they verifying it right here, saying this was a just retribution of the heavens upon the Jews for having rejected and put to death the true Messiah. And they fulfilled the warning given by Christ of a host of deceivers at that period. Alright. Let me get some water here. We got a lot of reading to get into here, but it's gonna paint a picture. Alright, so now we're gonna see how the Greeks got involved. Go down a little bit. And if you got this book, that's on page 7. In Seleucia, the Greeks and Syrians rose against the Jews, who fled thither from the pestilence in Babylon, and slew 50,000 of them. 5 years after, the Jews in Perea and people of Philadelphia contended about the limits of a city when many of the Jews were slain. 4 years after this, an insult being offered to the Jews within the precincts of the temple by a Roman soldier and being violently resented, a Roman force rushed upon them, which so terrified the Jews that they fled in vast disorder, and 10,000 of them lost their lives in the streets. Soon after, a contention arose between the Jews in Caesarea and the Syrians, relative to the government of Caesarea. In the first encounter, more than 20,000 Hebrews or Jews were slain. In Alexandria, the Jews rose upon the Romans and had 50,000 of their people slain, without any regard to infancy or age. These contentions rose and increased to the whole Jewish or not Jewish The words say Jewish in this book, but we're going to replace it with Hebrews because there won't no Ish back then. Ish wasn't there yet. Ish came later. These contentions rose and increased till the whole Hebrew nation took up arms against the Romans and brought on themselves their final destruction. Alright? So, we see right here, and in times, when they say Jewish, speaking back then, it's speaking on us, the Hebrews, but because it's taking over later on in times and them saying Jewish for wordplay, when they say Jews, they'll put in Jewish, but we know that we not Ish. So when it's just like when it's speaking on Christ, sometimes it'll say the Jewish Messiah, but he was the Messiah of the Hebrews. He was the Hebrew Messiah. So, and it, like we know in the scriptures, the Jews is the Hebrews, because it won't no Jew. You never see Ish, and that's when the Most High say he know them that say they are Jews, but they not. They imposters in Revelation. So the Most High tell us that in the Bible that it's going to be some imposters who say that they are the Jews, his Hebrews, but they not. Which, that's the difference between Ish and the Hebrews, the Brews. Alright, so these contentions rose and increased to the whole Hebrew nation took up arms against the Romans and brought on themselves their final destruction. Thus the prediction of the Savior quoted received in those days a striking primary fulfillment. Alright. And we're gonna see right here where it says Josephus gives accounts of events which strikingly answer to this premonition on Christ saying about the signs that there should be from heaven. Alright, and if you don't know, Josephus was the Hebrew historian who recorded it, and some of y'all may know, but Josephus, the complete works, this a thick book right here. But Josephus, he recorded the history back then. So I mean, for all the Negroes who swear our history won't record it, and the Bible not our history, this right here, he tell it. He tell what went on over there after Christ was crucified, because he was living at that time. He was a historian. And Mormon, who the Book of Mormon is named after, he did the same thing over here in the Americas. He recorded our history. That's why the Book of Mormon is called the Book of Mormon, because he recorded the history and saved it for us. So I mean, this is something that y'all can get right here to see what went on over there in the land over there, because our history was recorded. They just didn't hid it from us. And that also verified the truth of the scriptures. And he used some of the scriptures. Like he said, they was living under the law of Moses. Alright, so Josephus, and they used some of his stuff in here. Alright, and one of the signs they were saying was a meteor resembling a sword hung over Jerusalem during one whole year. This could not have been a comet, for it was stationary a whole year, and seems from the words of Josephus to have been much nearer than a comet and appeared to be appropriated to that city. This reminds one of the sword of the destroying angel stretched out over Jerusalem in 1 Chronicles chapter 21:16. This stationary position of the sword for a year was a lively indication that the impending ruin was fatal. Alright? So it was signs, like Christ said, it was going to be signs in the heavens. And we see right here that meteor resembling a sword that just hung over the city for a whole year. The same way we seeing signs now in the sky of things that's going on in the end times or whatnot. There were signs that happened back then, right after the crucifixion of Christ. So that's why I say you're going to see it. It comes around again. Alright, and then we say, soon after the feast of the Passover in various parts of the country, before the setting of the sun, chariots and armed men were seen in the air passing round about Jerusalem. And ain't that the same thing they be talking about? All the UFO sightings and people talking about they seeing chariots in the sky, brothers and sisters recording, taking videos. YouTube take some of them down, but The same thing, we're saying again. This strange sight occurring before sunset and being seen in various parts of the country must have been a miraculous portent, a sign from heaven. The Jews had said, "What sign showest thou, that we may see and believe?" Now they had their signs in abundance, yet they would not believe. Alright? Just like right now. We not trying to hear it. We not going to believe. It's not the end of the world. And the Gentiles is going to rise back up and get all of their things in order. And we going to go back to them treating us the way we were. It's like backwards thinking that we have or would not. Negroes don't want to believe that the Most High fulfilling his word to us. And he coming to set the captives free. Like Christ said, he came to take captivity captives. I thought that's just the most powerful scripture in the whole scriptures. He came to take captivity captives. That's about as thorough as you can get. But brothers and sisters ain't trying to hear that. They still trying to give faith to the Gentiles that one of them created this. They don't want to say that the Most High created it, and he did it to us back then, and he doing it again. He did it to Pharaoh in Egypt to shut him down. And now he doing it to the Gentiles that control it now. Slowly but surely. Not everything at once. Slowly but surely. Shutting everything down. Sending plagues. Taking the powers away. But like he said, we are stiff-necked, hard-headed, peculiar people that's stubborn, that don't want to hear to the signs. We ask for the signs. But when he send them, nah, them ain't no signs. We ain't trying to hear it. We ain't trying to hear it. So right here, we got the Gentiles telling us that they sent us signs before, but we weren't trying to hear it. Such were the signs in the heavens and in the earth, which just preceded the destruction of Jerusalem. Several of them are recorded by Tacitus as well as by Josephus. The veracity of Josephus as a historian is probably allowed by all. Alright, so even the Gentiles is confirming Josephus' writings as a historian, and that he was the greatest Hebrew historian. He recorded. You see, I think that book is that's all. He recorded what happened or what not. So the history is recorded. So don't let them tell you that it ain't no records. And also Mormon, in the Book of Mormon, with what happened with us over here, which we gonna go see. That's why we're gonna tie the two together. We always gotta tie the two nations together, along with the spiritual effects with us. Well, that's why I had to show that Jerusalem had to do with us spiritually, also being spiritually broke. All right. Scaliger affirms that he deserves more credit as a writer than all the Greek and Roman historians put together. And that's speaking on Josephus. So you got a Gentile saying right here that Josephus deserved more credit as a writer than all the Greek and Roman historians put together. From the conquest of Jerusalem by Pompey 60 years before Christ, the Jews repeatedly had exhibited a most rebellious spirit against the Romans. They persecuted Christ because he would not erect the temporal throne in opposition to Caesar. Any imposter who seemed prepared to do this, they were ready to follow. Alright. This spirit and conduct would soon draw against them the Roman sword. Alright. So we leading up. We leading up to them putting hands on us. Alright. Nero, being informed of the defeat of Cestius, gave a command to Vespasian to press the war against the rebellious Jews. He and his son Titus soon collected an army of 60,000 men. In AD 67 AD, he marched from Ptolemais to Judea, marking his steps with ravages and desolation. Infancy and age fell before the furious soldiers. All the strong towns of Galilee and many of those of Judea fell before the victorious arms of Vespasian, who slew not less than 150,000 inhabitants. Alright, so we seeing slowly but surely how they cleared us out of the land to where nobody knew that we, the so-called blacks, was there. Alright, so because as we see, they destroying this many thousands. Over time, it's gonna add up, and we gonna see. We gonna get there. The Jews of this place, fleeing before him, betook themselves to the ships. But a furious tempest overtook those who stood out to the sea, and they were lost. The others would dash vessel against vessel, or against the rocks. Some in their distress laid violent hands on themselves. Alright, laid violent hands on themselves. Such as reached the shore were slain by the enraged Romans. The sea for some distance was stained with their blood. Alright. Let's scroll over a little farther. This terror produced a new scene of righteous retribution. Multitudes of the Jews were forced by hunger to flee to the enemy's camp. Here, instead of pitying and relieving them, the Romans cut off the hands of many and sent them back. Now that's thorough right there. That's thorough right there. They cut off the hands of the hungry ones and sent them back to where they came from. But most of them they crucified as fast as they could lay their hands on them, till wood was wanting for crosses and space on which to erect them. Behold, here thousands of those despairing Jews suspended on crosses round the walls of Jerusalem. Behold, 2,000 Jews who had fled to the mercy of their invaders were ripped open alive by Arabs, and Syrians in the Roman armies. Alright, so hey, you can't really get mad about it, about what the white folks did to us, what the Gentiles did to us, because we brung it on ourselves. And you can be mad, but who you mad with? The Most High? This is why we supposed to repent for the sins of our forefathers or whatnot, because we was wicked and we brung it on ourselves. And as much as we talk about how the Gentiles act and how wicked they is or whatnot, we was wicked too, and we was wicked first. So we always blame them with the blame game, but if you know the scriptures, you know this was the Most High. The Most High sent them on us. The Most High set all of this up. Alright? So now let's see more. The famine in the city became still more deadly. For want of food, the Jews ate their belts, sandals, skin of their shields, dried grass, and even order of cattle. Now it was that a noble Jewess, speaking on a female, Akwat, urged by the insufferable pains of hunger, slew and prepared for food her own infant child. Alright, and didn't it say in the scriptures that we was gonna eat our own kids or whatnot? And people thought that this was just a fairy tale and something that people added in the scriptures or whatnot. But nah, right here, it's recorded. Josephus recorded it. It's in the history. We really did that or whatnot. And it didn't just happen over there. It happened over here too. The Most High dealt with both of us the same. He spiritually put hands on both of his nations of kids, over there and over here. We gonna see. Alright. Slew and prepared food for her own. Nah, let's start it right here, the sentence again. Now it was that a noble Jewess, urged by the insufferable pains of hunger, slew and prepared for food her own infant child. She had eaten half the horrible preparation when the smell of food brought in a horde of soldiers, who threatened her with instant death if she did not produce to them the food she had in possession. They ain't know what she was eating or whatnot. They just seen her eating, and they were hungry. So they demanded that she did it. She, being thus compelled to obey, produced the remaining half of her child. And the soldiers stepped back and seen the recital petrified the hearers with horror. Alright. So it was wicked. The things that the Most High said and the Lamentations of Jeremiah with things he said that we went through and we was gonna do, we did it. Ain't no doubt about it. It wasn't the Gentile, it was us. We did it. And the Most High made us do it for our wickedness and what we did. No words can reach the horrors of the situation of the female part of the community at that period. Josephus declares that if there had not been many credible witnesses of that awful fact, he never would have recorded it. For he said, such a shocking violation of nature never has been perpetrated by any Greek or barbarian. The Most High made us go into it. The Most High won't plan with us. Alright, let's see some more. How they slaughtered us. The triumphant Roman soldiers were in a most ungovernable rage and fury. When you start killing like that, a spirit come on you. When you start killing like that. So like it said, they were in the most ungovernable rage and fury. They were indeed instruments prepared for their work. And remember what the Most High told us, that he was going to send his instruments on us. They were indeed instruments prepared for their work, to execute the most signal vengeance of heaven, the flame of which was now reaching its height. The Romans slew of the Jews all before them, sparing neither age, sex, or rank. They seemed determined to annihilate the Hebrew race on the spot. Priests and common people, those who surrendered and those who still fought, all were alike subjects of an indiscriminate slaughter. The blood of the slain ran in rivers. The earth around became covered with the slain, and the victorious Romans trampled over those piles of dead in pursuit of the thousands who were fleeing from the points of their swords. In a word, the roar and cracking of fire, the shrieks of thousands in despair, the dying groans of thousands, and the sights which met the eye, wherever it was turned, were such as never before had any parallel on earth. They probably as much exceeded all antecedent scenes of horror as the guilt which occasioned them. In their treatment of the Lord of glory, of brother Jesus, of the Christ, and of the Most High, exceeded all guilt ever before known among men. Alright? So this right here is saying, ain't been no Holocaust like it was, which happened with us. Like they said, such as never before had any parallel on earth. Nothing like this had ever been done until that point, until they got to us over here. When they got to us over here, they turned it up a notch. But like you said, everything started in the east and come to the west. So the Most High started with the brothers and sisters across the water. They hadn't got over here to us yet. We hadn't seen no white folks at this time. So let's continue. It's showing how the Most High worked, how he didn't play. Alright, let's see it. The obstinate leaders of the great Hebrew factions, beholding now the desperateness of their cause, desired a conference with Titus. One would imagine they would at least now lay down their arms. Their desiring an interview with the Roman general appeared as though they would be glad to do this. But righteous heaven designed their still greater destruction. Speaking on the Most High designed their still greater destruction. Titus, after all their mad rebellions, kindly offered to spare the residue of the Jews if they would now submit. But strange to relate, they refused to comply. The noble general then, as must have been expected, was highly exasperated. He was tired of dealing with us at this point. He was tired of trying to spare somebody. He's just like, you know what? Forget it. Get him. Just go all out. Alright? And issue his general order that he would grant no further pardon to the insurgents. His legions now were ordered to ravage and destroy. The furious legions then flew through the Lord's city, of which they soon became masters, slaughtering and burning in every street. The Jews themselves aided the slaughter. In the royal palace containing vast treasures, 8,400 Jews were murdered by their seditious brethren. We turned on each other, taking each other out of their misery. Great numbers of the deserters from the furious leaders of faction flocked to the Romans. But it was too late. The general order was given. All should be slain. The Roman soldiers, however, being at length weary with butchery and more than satisfied with blood for a short time, sheathed their swords and betook themselves to plunder. They collected multitudes of Hebrews, Jews, husbands, wives, children, and servants, formed a market and set them up at the venue for slaves. They sold them for any trifle, while purchasers were but few. Their lawgiver Moses had forewarned them of this. Alright? And this in Deuteronomy 28:68. And ye should be sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Alright? So, whereas we take this on, a lot of the camps will take it whereas this was talking about us being sold into slavery in America. Nah. This was the Hamites. This was, well, not the Ham, well, they was included, but it was over there in the land of Judah. When we was getting persecuted over there by the Romans, after they got tired of killing us so many, they decided to make some money and profit off of some of us. And what I can say right here, they set up a market and they set up a venue to sell us or whatnot, and they sold us for any price. And they said the purchasers were but few. Alright? So this confirming that part right there, and it shed new light on it. Like the Most High say, He's gonna give us more information in the end times and whatnot. So we can't just keep saying Deuteronomy 28:68 and we were sold for slaves and sent from Africa to America. Nah, we were sold over there in that land to other people over there, whatnot, by the Romans. Because there was so many of us. They had to clear, the same way they cleared us out of the land over here in America, they had to clear us out over there. The whole lower city, now in the possession of the Roman legions, was set on fire. Alright. Josephus, who was an eyewitness of all the scene, says, all the calamities which ever befell any nation since the beginning of the world were inferior to the miseries of the Hebrews at this awful period. Alright, so Josephus, who, the book right here, he recorded the history. No nation on earth had ever went through any misery like we went through at this time right here. And there's another way that you know who the Most High people is over here, because He punished those who He loved. So He punished us over there first, and this was the greatest calamity to befall any nation at that time, no matter what the Gentiles tell you about the Jews that with Hitler or whatnot. Nah, even Hitler knew who the real Jews was. It was us. And then the same thing that happened over there happened over here. And this was the greatest calamity after that one right there. But this one was greater because it was way more over here. Alright. The upper city too fell before the victorious arms of the Roman conquerors. Titus would have spared all who had not been forward in resisting the Romans and gave his orders accordingly. But his soldiers, callous to all the feelings of humanity, slaughtered the aged and sick as well as the mass of the people. The tall and most beautiful young men, however, were spared by Titus to grace his triumph at Rome. Of the rest, many above the age of 17 were sent in chains to Egypt to be disposed of as slaves. Some were reserved to be sacrificed in their amphitheaters as gladiators. Alright, so they used us as gladiators also for their entertainment. To be slain in sham fights for the sport of their conquerors. Others were distributed through the empire. All who survived under the age of 17 were exposed for sale. Josephus informs that 1,100,000 Jews perished in the siege of Jerusalem, that 237,000 perished in that last war and other sieges and battles, besides multitudes who perished by famine and pestilence, making a total of at least 1,400,000. Some hundreds of thousands in sullen despair laid violent hands on themselves. About 97,000 were captured and dispersed. Alright. So he giving the numbers right here. How many of us going through all these events? And this why we don't know that it was us over there, and why nobody else know. And this part of the history right here that the Most High was waiting to reveal to us later on in time. The Roman army, before they left Jerusalem, not only demolished the buildings there, but even dug up their foundations. How fatal was the divine judgment on this devoted city? 5 months before it was the wonder of the world, and contained at the commencement of the siege more than 1.5 million of Jews, natives, and visitors. Speaking on the Hebrews, alright? More than 1.5 million Hebrews, natives, and visitors. Now it lay in total ruins, with not one stone upon another as Christ had denounced. Christ had foretold of this destruction, that there should be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world. And of the event, Josephus says, if the misfortunes of all nations from the beginning of the world were compared with those which befell the Hebrews, they will appear far less. Again, no other city ever suffered such things, and no other generation from the beginning of the world was ever more fruitful in wickedness. Alright, you heard that right there? No other city ever suffered such things, as no other generation from the beginning of the world was ever more fruitful in wickedness. Alright, we was fruitful in our wickedness. Alright, and that's what we don't realize. Like, we was wicked, and that's where some of these camps and movements got it twisted. The Most High sent them on us. The Most High, like he said, he blessed us, and we brought curses on ourselves. We can continue in his blessings that he gave us from the beginning, or we can curse ourselves by continual disobedience. Alright. So that's it right there for what we gonna read on what happened in the land of Judah over there. Alright, so now we gonna go and see what happened over here. Because the Most High, he sent us prophets over here too, to tell us what was gonna happen over here. Same way prophets were sent to our brothers, sisters over there to tell them what was gonna happen, he sent them over here to us too. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the Book of Mormon. And we're gonna go to Helaman. And this was Samuel the Lamanite. He was a prophet sent to forewarn them about the wickedness. Let me get a little water here. We got some more reading to do here, and we're gonna tie it together, and we're gonna see how the Most High, he got both of us. He ain't just get them over there. That's why we just think we Judah. All the counts teach that we Judah. Nah. It happened to us over here too. It happened to our brothers over there, but that's not the only time it happened. And this the history that's been hidden right here about it happened to us over here. Alright. We're going to start in Helaman chapter 13. And now it came to pass in the 86th year, the Nephites, who was a tribe of the Israelites that came across the water over here. Alright. The Nephites you got Nephites, you got Lamanites. It was a few different tribes. We'll go into that in another video. For the sake of time, we'll get into all that right now. But there's no, Nephi was ordained the head prophet over here. And like the Most High said, he only used us for his prophets and oracles and all of that. So the Nephites was named after the prophet Nephi. Alright. The Nephites did still remain in wickedness. Yeah, in great wickedness. While the Lamanites Lamanites was their brethren, did observe strictly to keep the commandments of God according to the law of Moses. Alright. Now we know we was the only nation that was given laws. So right here, this confirmed that both Lamanites and Nephites was Hebrews, Jews. Alright, and it came to pass that in this year there was one Samuel, a Lamanite, came into the land of Zarahemla and began to preach unto the people. And it came to pass that he did preach many days repentance unto the people. And they did cast him out, and he was about to return to his own land. But behold, the voice of the Most High came unto him, that he should return again to prophesy unto the people whatsoever things should come into his heart. And it came to pass that they would not suffer that he should enter into the city. Alright, they won't trying to hear it. Therefore he went and got upon the wall thereof, and stretched forth his hand, and cried with a loud voice, and prophesied unto the people whatsoever things the Lord put into his heart. And he said unto them, Behold, I Samuel, a Lamanite, do speak the words of the Lord which he does put in my heart. And behold, he hath put it into my heart to say unto this people that the sword of justice hangs over this people. Alright, so he letting them know. Yeah, heavy destruction awaits this people, and it surely comes unto this people, and nothing can save this people except it be repentance and faith on the Lord Christ, who surely should come into this world and should suffer many things and should be slain for his people. Alright, so he was sent to warn them before Christ came. Alright, so he was, and so this is showing that it was a land of us over here before Christ got incarnated into the flesh. It was cities of us over here. All right, and this right here is confirming it, because the Most High sent Samuel to preach unto the people repentance, the same way he had Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and all of them do it in the land of Judah. He had prophets over here doing the same thing, telling the ones of us over here, repent. All right, because Christ is coming. All right. And it's like I say, he should be slain for his people. Therefore, down to 8. Go down to 8. Therefore, thus said the Lord, because of the hardness of the hearts of the people of the Nephites, except they repent, I will take away my word from them, and I will withdraw my spirit from them, and I will suffer them no longer, and I will turn the hearts of their brethren against them. And 400 years should not pass away before I will cause that they should be smitten. Yeah, I will visit them with the sword, and with famine, and with pestilence. Yeah, I will visit them in my fierce anger, and there should be those of the 4th generation who should live of your enemies, to behold your utter destruction. And this shall surely come, except you repent, says the Most High. And those of the 4th generation shall visit your destruction. But if ye will repent and return unto the Most High, I will turn my anger away, says the Lord. Yet thus said the Lord, blessed are they who will repent and turn unto me, but woe unto him that repents not. Yeah, woe unto this great city of Zarahemla, for behold, it is because of those who are righteous that it is saved. Yeah, woe unto this great city, for I perceive, said the Lord, that there are many. Yeah, even the more part of this great city that will harden their hearts against me, said the Lord. But blessed are they who will repent, for them will I spare. But behold, if it were not for the righteous who are in this great city, behold, I would cause that fire should come down out of heaven and destroy it. But behold, it is for the righteous' sake that it is spared. But behold, the time comes, said the Lord, that when ye should cast out the righteous from among you, then shall ye be ripe for destruction. Yea, woe be unto this great city because of the wickedness and abominations which are in her. Yea, 16. And woe be unto all the cities which are in the land round about, which are possessed by the Nephites, because of the wickedness and abominations which are in them. And behold, a curse shall come upon the land, said the Lord of hosts, because of the people's sake who are upon the land, yea, because of their wickedness and their abominations. Alright, so we see right here We had cities over here, just like we had cities over there in the east. We had cities over here in the west. And the Most High is telling us over here in the Americas the same thing that he told our brothers and sisters across the water. Because of your wickedness, I'm going to destroy you. Alright? And of course, we the same no matter where we go. The same way we was over there is the same way we was over here. So the Most High, like I said, he dealt with both of us the same. He told us over there, and he told us over here. The only thing is, we didn't know we was over here until the Mormon scriptures. All the Mormon scriptures that they done hid and everything, that's where this information at about us being the people over here in the land. And how we was the ones over here before anybody else came. It was us over here. Alright, and we further proof that we the same people over here. Still in Helaman 13. And we gonna go to 29. We gonna go to 29. And this gonna show how we still the same over here as we was over there. Helaman 13:29. O ye wicked and ye perverse generation, ye hardened and ye stiff-necked people, you hard-headed people, you hard-headed Negroes. How long will ye suppose that the Lord will suffer you? Yeah, how long will ye suffer yourselves to be led by foolish and blind guides? Yeah, how long will ye choose darkness rather than light? Yeah, behold, the anger of the Most High is already kindled against you. Behold, he had cursed the land because of your iniquity. And behold, the time comes that he cursed your riches, that they become slippery, that ye cannot hold them. And in the days of your poverty, ye cannot retain them. And in the days of your poverty, you should cry unto the Lord. And in vain shall you cry, for your desolation has already come upon you, and your destruction is made sure. And then shall you weep and howl in that day, said the Lord of hosts. And then shall ye lament and say, Oh, that I had repented, and had not killed the prophets, and stoned them, and cast them out. Yea, in that day ye shall say, Oh, that we have remembered the Most High our God in the day that he gave us our riches. And then they would not have become slippery that we should lose them. For behold, our riches are gone from us. Alright, so ain't that the same thing? Similar to what Jeremiah was saying? The Most High had Samuel. This show right here that the Most High the same. He is the same and he changed not. And he deal with us the same way on that side as he deal with us over here. But with now. And that's why brothers and sisters need to start studying the Mormon text, the Mormon books. I'll show you mine again. I got a Latter-day Saint. It's called the LDS Quad. They don't have them on Amazon that I done found, but if you type LDS Quad on eBay, you can find one, and they got all the precepts lined up. These books that they got are ours that they've been hiding from us, thinking that it's they books and everything. But we'll see. We're going to get another video where it's the game that the Most High ran on them, because he knew they wouldn't destroy it if they thought it was theirs or whatnot. So they held it for us until the Most High woke us up. So it's called LDS Quad, and they got Doctrines and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, which is the Book of Moses, the Book of Abraham, and then you got the Book of Mormon in the Bible, and they got the precepts for all of them lined up together at the bottom. Alright, hold on. Alright, so now we're gonna go to chapter 14. And because he gave us a sign before Christ was born, the Most High sent Samuel to do that also. Chapter 14, Helaman 14, verse 2. And behold, he said unto them, Samuel, behold, I give unto you a sign, for 5 years more comes, and behold, then cometh the Son of God to redeem all those who shall believe on his name. And behold, this will I give unto you for a sign at the time of his coming. For behold, there shall be great lights in heaven, and so much that in the night before he cometh, there shall be no darkness, and so much that it shall appear unto man as if it was day. Alright, so we see right here that it didn't no night come. The night that Christ was born, it won't no darkness, it won't no night. And he gave them the sign to self. For therefore they should be one day and a night and a day, as if it were one day and there was no night. And this shall be unto you for a sign. For ye shall know of the rising of the sun and also of his setting. Therefore they shall know of a surety that there should be 2 days and a night. Nevertheless the night shall not be darkened, and it shall be the night before he is born. And behold, there shall a new star arise, such an one as ye never have beheld. And this also shall be a sign unto you. And behold, this is not all. There shall be many signs and wonders in heaven. And it shall come to pass that ye shall all be amazed and wonder, and so much that ye shall fall to the earth.
I find it hard.
Alright, so these are signs showing that the Most High sent signs to us about his birth over here also. So the ones of us that was over here received signs the same way 3 wise men and them received their signs over in the east to know that he was coming. We received signs, the ones of, because we had been left from over there, the 10 tribes, and was over here. Alright, so we also gonna see it was a sign. Here we go. We're gonna get the sign of when he was crucified. Alright. 19. We're gonna go to 19. Helaman 14:19. Therefore repent ye, lest by knowing these things and not doing them ye should suffer yourselves to come under condemnation, and ye are brought down unto the second death. But behold, as I say unto you concerning another sign, a sign of his death, behold, in that day he shall suffer death, the sun shall be darkened, and refuse to give his light unto you, and also the moon and the stars, and there shall be no light upon the face of this land, even from the time that he shall suffer death for the space of 3 days, to the time that he shall rise again from the dead. Yeah, at that time that he shall yield up the ghost, there shall be thunders and lightning for the space of many hours, and the earth shall shake and tremble, and the rocks which are upon the face of this earth, which are both above the earth and beneath, which ye know at this time are solid, or the more part of it is one solid mass, shall be broken up. Yeah, they shall be rent in twain, and shall ever after be found in seams and in cracks, and in broken fragments upon the face of the whole earth. Yeah, both above the earth and beneath. And behold, there shall be great tempests, and there shall be many mountains laid low, like unto a valley. And there shall be many places which are now called valleys, which shall become mountains, whose height is great. And many highways shall be broken up, and many cities shall be desolate. Alright, so this right here, the prophet telling us we had highways over here. We had plenty of highways. Alright, so don't think that the Gentiles created highways and that it's something new that they gave to us. No, they just took all our stuff. The Most High said he gave all our stuff to them. He gave all our inheritance, all our possessions, our cities, our riches, our knowledge, everything he gave to them for our disobedience. And like I say, many highways shall be broken up, and many cities shall become desolate. So we have many cities over here in the Americas, north and south, just like we had over there in the land of Judah. Alright. So he then gave us the sign on what's gonna happen. Alright, here we go. Chapter 15. Still Helaman, chapter 15, starting at 1. And now, my beloved brethren, behold, I declare unto you that except ye shall repent, your houses shall be left unto you desolate. Desolate. The same thing that the Most High told Ezekiel he was going to do over there. I mean, he was going to leave the land desolate. So we see right here, the Most High don't change. He telling us the same thing he told our brothers over there. 2. Yea, except ye repent, your women shall have great cause to mourn, and the day that they shall get sucked. For he shall attempt to flee, and there should be no place for refuge. Yea, and woe unto them which are with child, for they shall be heavy and cannot flee. Therefore they shall be trodden down and shall be left to perish. Yea, woe unto this people who are called the people of Nephi, except they shall repent, when they shall see all these signs and wonders which shall be showed unto them. For behold, they have been a chosen people of the Lord. Alright, so we see right here, the same way all the Bible tell us we was a chosen people, the chosen people got split up. If you ain't seen the video that we did, Know Ye Not That There Are Two Nations, the Most High tell us his ancient covenant people is over here in the Americas and over there. But they didn't hid all the records of us over here in the Mormon. Mormon was an Israelite historian, just like Josephus was an Israelite historian in the East. Mormon was an Israelite historian in the West. And him and his son recorded a lot of what went on over here and left it for us. Alright, so, and this right here is showing, yay, the people. Hold on, let's go back up. Start at 3 again. Helaman 15:3. Yea, woe unto this people who are called the people of Nephi, except they shall repent, when they shall see all these signs and wonders, which shall be showed unto them. For behold, they have been a chosen people of the Lord. Yea, the people of Nephi have he loved, and also have he chastened them. Yea, in the days of their iniquities have he chastened them, because he loved them. Alright, and remember, the Most High say, those whom he loved is those whom he chastened. And we were his chosen people. And this ain't got nothing to do with the Gentiles, because the Gentiles came later. We was the original people. The Christ came through our lineage, or whatnot, which designated us as the chosen people. That's how you know Christ was a brother. He wanted Gentiles. So the Gentiles, just like Jeremiah said, the Gentiles gonna have to admit that they didn't inherit the lies. And when they can see that they didn't inherit the lies, then they'll realize that the word is true. And they'll see it from a new perspective, where the Most High say, like we read in Romans, he speaks through us. He uses us to do his work. All his prophets come through us. So now we gonna see the destruction that came on us over here. We got it prophesied right there from Samuel the Lamanite. He prophesied to us. Now we gonna actually see it. Go to 3 Nephi, and if you don't have a Mormon book, you can Google it. You can Google 3 Nephi, and it'll come up. 3 Nephi chapter 8. 3 Nephi chapter 8, and we're gonna start at verse 1. Let me get some water here. We got some good reading to do. We gonna see. And now it came to pass that according to our record, and we know our record to be true, for behold, it was a just man who did keep the record. For he truly did many miracles in the name of Jesus. There was not any man who could do a miracle in the name of Christ, except he were cleansed every whit from his iniquity. And now it came to pass, if there was no mistake made by this man in the reckoning of our time, the 33rd year had passed away. And the people began to look with great earnestness for the sign which had been given by the prophet Samuel the Lamanite. Yea, for the time that there should be darkness for the space of 3 days over the face of the land. And there began to be great doubtings and disputations among the people, notwithstanding so many signs had been given. And it came to pass, in the 34th year, in the first month, on the 4th day of the month, there arose a great storm, such as one as never had been known in all the land. Alright, so we got it down to the exact day and month right here on when it happened. So all them Gentiles and the brothers and sisters that listen to them, y'all done been tricked. Y'all done been hoodwinked. They done pulled the wool over y'all ass. All y'all Negroes that say that we want in the Americas and we want over here and don't read the Book of Mormon and all of that. Nah, That's the tricks right there of the enemy. They trying to keep you from getting the rest of our records or whatnot. So we going. That's why I started at the beginning over there in the East and show how it came to pass in the West and the Most High the same. To line it all up, to show it's two nations and He judged us the same. And our records is thorough. We had thorough records over there. We got thorough records over here. All our scriptures can be backed up through our writings. That's why we, in the other video, no, we are two nations. We showed how our records was of great worth to the Gentiles. Alright, that's how they study history. They distort the numbers, but they know history and everything from our records. And they also know how to control us through our records. Alright. Verse 5. And it came to pass in the 34th year, in the first month, on the 4th day of the month, there arose a great storm, such as never has been known in all the land. And there was also a great and terrible tempest, and there was terrible thunder, insomuch that it did shake the whole earth, as if it was about to divide asunder. And there were exceedingly sharp lightnings, such as never had been known in all the land. And the city of Zarahemla did take fire, and the city of Moroni did sink into the depths of the sea, and the inhabitants thereof were drowned. Alright, so the most High let us have it over here. Worse, you see, he's sinking cities. He putting cities on fire. So we seen what happened to our brothers in the East. Look at what happened to us. The city of Zarahemla did take fire, and the city of Moroni did sink into the depths of the sea, and the inhabitants thereof were drowned. And the earth was carried up upon the city of Moronihah, that in the place of the city there became a great mountain. And there was a great and terrible destruction in the land southward. But behold, there was a more great and terrible destruction in the land northward. For behold, the whole face of the land was changed, because of the tempest and the whirlwinds, and the thunderings and the lightnings, and the exceedingly great quaking of the whole earth. And the highways were broken up, and the level roads were spoiled, and many smooth places became rough. And many great and notable cities were sunk. You heard that right there? You heard that? Many great and notable cities were sunk. So, like they said, and if you read some of their writings before Columbus, they say when they came over here, they seen stuff like they had never seen before. But that was even the later on time period. They didn't get to see the stuff that we built before what they seen. And when they came over here, they say they seen things that they had never seen in the East. And it was way more advanced than the stuff that they seen over there. No disrespect to the brothers over there, but it was more of us over here. And like they said, we had many great and notable cities were sunk, and many were burned, and many were shaken to the buildings. Thereof had fallen to the earth, and the inhabitants thereof were slain, and the places were left desolate. That's part of the reason archaeology over here is so strong. They know that we had a lot of cities that was buried under the land and that was sunk. And that's why all their archaeology, they just studying our remains, our history. That's why our scriptures are such great worth to them, because they tied together. When they read the scriptures talking about these great cities that were sunk, they go all through the ocean searching. And the same way they search all through the lands and they find all these things and they block off areas where we can't go to. And they pretty much, they just study all of our things, all of our history, the technology we used to hire, the things we used to build. And that's why they worked so hard to hide us from remembering who we was. And that's part of the reason we couldn't read for so long. They had to dumb us down to a point to where they could figure some stuff out and see how to go forth with controlling us. All right, but let's get back to the work. 15. And there were some cities which remained, but the damage thereof was exceedingly great, and there were many in them who were slain. And there were some who were carried away in the whirlwind, and whether they went no man knows, except they know that they were carried away. And thus the face of the whole earth became deformed, because of the tempests and the thunderings and the lightnings and the quaking of the earth. And behold, the rocks were rent in twain, They were broken up upon the face of the whole earth, insomuch that they were found in broken fragments, and in seams and in cracks upon all the face of the land. And it came to pass that when the thunderings and the lightnings and the storms and the tempests and the quakings of the earth did cease, for behold, they did last for about the space of 3 hours. So number natural disasters for 3 straight hours. That's crazy right there. And we see all these natural disasters going on now. Brother Jesus told us in the end all the natural disasters was going to come, and the things that happened right after he got crucified, you see all that leading back up in the end times or whatnot. That's why he told them the kingdom was at hand back then. But we don't listen and we don't learn from the past. And it was said by some that the time was greater. Nevertheless, all these great and terrible things were done in about the space of 3 hours. And then behold, there was darkness upon the face of the land. And it came to pass that there was thick darkness upon all the face of the land, insomuch that the inhabitants thereof, who had not fallen, could feel the vapor of the darkness, and there could be no light because of the darkness. Neither candles, neither torches, neither could there be fire kindled with their fine and exceedingly dry wood, so that there could not be any lit at all. And there was not any light seen, neither fire nor glimmer, neither the sun nor the moon nor the stars, for so great were the mist of darkness which were upon the face of the land. And it came to pass that it did last for the space of 3 days, that there was no light seen. And there was great mourning and howling and weeping among all the people continually. Yea, great were the groanings of the people because of the darkness and the great destruction which had come upon them. And in one place they were heard to cry, saying, Oh, if we have repented before this great and terrible day, and then would our brethren have been spared, and they would not have been burned in that great city Zarahemla. And in another place they were heard to cry and mourn, saying, Oh, if we have repented before this great and terrible day, and had not killed and stoned the prophets and cast them out, then would our mothers and our fair daughters and our children have been spared, and not have been buried up in that great city Moroni High. And thus were the howlings of the people great and terrible. Alright. So we see right there how the Most High dealt with us over here, and how the Most High judgment is the same. The Most High don't play games with us. That's another way of knowing that we the people that the book was about. And while we in the position we in now, and how right now the Most High raising us back up. He raising us back up, and he doing the work with us that the ones of us that didn't get the rest of the scriptures don't know. Let's go to 3 Nephi chapter 21 and just read the header, part of the header. Israel shall be gathered when the Book of Mormon comes forth. Alright? And that means when it came forth among us. Not when the Gentiles been had it, but when it came forth among us. Once we got the Book of Mormon, that's when the Most High was going to start gathering us. That's when he was going to start gathering us, because that's when we're going to get the rest of our records, and that's when we get the fullness of the gospel. We got the first stick, the second stick, and all the books in between that they done took in and out, that they done took out and hid. So that's why now, before the end, he said the records was going to be released. And the brothers that don't get the Mormon books or whatnot, they don't get the fullness of the gospel. So they just repeating the same things that they might get new perspective on them old things, but they're not growing and increasing because they missing the rest of our records or whatnot. And the Most High then stated this: he can't take them no farther because their belief ain't strong enough, and they can't get past the games that the Gentiles then played and ran on us. So they ain't no different than Gentiles. The Most High can't take them no farther or whatnot. Their belief ain't that strong. They don't believe that this the word of the Most High, even though they never read it. And someone that do read it will automatically dismiss it just because of what other brothers say, the commandments of men. And Christ then taught us about the commandments of men. So it's true. Christ told us, the Most High said he gonna gather us when the Book of Mormon come forth among us. Alright, so let's continue on. Get a little more here before we close it out. Let's go to Sirach Because the Most High good to us. Let's go to Sirach. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 36. And we're going to start at verse 1. Have mercy upon us, O Lord God of all, the Most High, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. This is the strange nations is the Gentiles. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power, as thou wast sanctified in us before them. In us, the Hebrews, the Jews. He was sanctified in us before them. So be thou magnified among them before us. And let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no God but only thou, the Most High. And right now, all the other nations is about to meet the God of the Hebrews. They only knew white Jesus, and white Jesus is love and all of that. All them lies that the Gentiles and told. They didn't know the real God of the Hebrews and how he don't play. And retribution is on the way. So the brother telling us right here, let them know you, Most High. Let them know you as we didn't know you. And that's why right now, it ain't our time of tribulation. This the time of the Gentiles. The time of the Gentiles have been fulfilled. And we're going to go through that on another video. The time of the Gentiles have been fulfilled. The Most High gave us things to see. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. Make the time short. Remember the covenant and let them declare thy wonderful works. Alright. Smite and sunder 10. Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say, there is none but we. And this is about how all these people going around, Gentiles and Jews, talking about the elite. The elite, the elite. The elite is doing this. The elite is doing that. And the elite actually think that they got elite power, but they don't. Alright, so this right here is telling them, smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the Gentiles that say, there is none other but we. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together and inherit thou them as from the beginning. O Lord, have mercy upon the people that is called by thy name, and upon Israel whom thou hast named thy firstborn. Alright. O be merciful unto Jerusalem, thy holy city, thy place of rest. Alright. Let's see. 14, let's continue down. Fill Zion with thy unspeakable oracles, and thy people with thy glory. Give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. Alright? So he right now, the Most High is using different brothers and sisters who is open and have received the fullness of the gospel through these other texts that came forth, and he giving testimony right now. The same the way he using me to get testimony. Get testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning. He didn't possess us from the beginning. We was way before the Gentiles. The Gentiles came from us, but we was from the beginning. We the ancient covenant people. The Gentiles don't know they self, and we didn't lost knowledge of ourselves because it's been stripped from us through the Gentiles. But the Most High using brothers and sisters out here to give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raising up prophets that have been in thy name. The Most High not raising up preachers through seminary school. He raised up his own teachers and prophets. Reward them that wait for thee, and let thy prophets be found faithful. Alright. Now, let's go on over. We got a little bit more. Let's go on over to Baruch in the Apocrypha also. Baruch, chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4. We're going to start at 2. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take heed. Well, now let's start at 1 because it's going to tie in with 2. This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. And that's speaking spiritually. Because you spiritually either going to come to life or you spiritually going to die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take heed of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou may be illuminated. Give not thy honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation, to the Gentiles. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction. Ye were sold to the Gentiles, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to the Most High. Ye had forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, Listen, O ye that dwell about Zion, God hath brought upon me great mourning. All right. Let's go down to. Hold on. Yeah. Let's keep on going. For when she saw the wrath of God coming upon you, she said, Listen, O ye that dwell about Zion, God hath brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. With joy did I nourish them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning. Let no man rejoice over me a widow, and forsaken of many, who for the sins of my children am left desolate, because they departed from the law of the Most High. They knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the paths of discipline and his righteousness. Let them that dwell about Zion come and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting have brought upon them. For he hath brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity child. These have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow, and left her that was alone desolate without daughters. But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Alright? What do you say right there? For he, the Most High, that brought these plagues upon you, Israel, Jerusalem, the Hebrews. He that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Let's go down to 25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High. For that enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. Read 25 again. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from the Most High. For thy enemy have persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. "27. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring your everlasting joy again with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee." So we see once again, the same way we started, showing the metaphysical, spiritual definition of Jerusalem and how it also represents the people, not just the city. We see it again right here. And just like Christ said, "O Jerusalem, O Jerusalem." There we go again. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Alright. Let's go to chapter 5. Verse 1. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from God forever. Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which comes from God, and set a diadem on thy head of the glory of the everlasting. For God will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. For the Most High will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. For thy name shall be called of the Most High forever, the peace of righteousness and the glory of God's worship. Arise, 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 O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about towards the east. And behold, thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High. For they departed from thee on foot, and were led away of their enemies. But the Most High brings them unto thee, exalted with glory, as children of the kingdom. Hold on. Go back up. Let's hit it again. Let's get it again. Rewind. 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high. Look about toward the east, and behold, thy children gathered from the east, from the Americas, toward the east, and behold, thy children gathered from the west, from the Americas unto the east, the land of Africa, by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High. For they departed from thee on foot, and were led away of their enemies. But the Most High brings them unto thee, exalted with glory, as children of the kingdom. Woo! 9. For the Most High shall lead Israel with joy in the light of his glory, with the mercy and righteousness that comes from him. So we see the Most High gonna pick us back up. He gonna pick us back up. And we gonna close it out right here. We gonna go still in the Apocrypha. It's called the Song of the Three Children, the Prayer of Azarias. We're gonna close it out right there. The Prayer of Azarias. Then Azarias stood up and prayed on this manner, and opening his mouth in the midst of the fire, and said, Blessed art thou, O Lord God of our fathers, the Most High. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore. For thou art righteous in all the things that thou hast done to us. Yea, true are all thy works, thy ways are right, and all thy judgments truth. And all the things that thou hast brought upon us, and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. For according to truth and judgment didst thou bring all these things upon us because of our sins. For we have sinned and committed iniquity to pardon from thee. In all things have we trespassed and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them. Neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore all that thou hast brought upon us, and everything that thou hast done to us, thou hast done in true judgment. And thou did deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of God, of the Most High, and to an unjust king, and the most wicked in all the world. Let's go down to 13. For we, O Lord, are become less than any nation, and be kept under this day in all the world because of our sins. Let's go to 15. Nevertheless, in a contrite heart and a humble spirit, let us be accepted. Let's go down to 17. And now we follow thee with all our heart. We fear thee and seek thy face. Put us not to shame, but deal with us after thy loving kindness, and according to the multitude of thy mercies. Deliver us also according to thy marvelous works, and give glory to the name, O Lord, and let all them that do thy servants hurt be ashamed. And let them be confounded in all their power and might, and let their strength be broken. And let them know that thou art Lord, the only God, the Most High and glorious over the whole world. And let them know that thou art Lord, the only God and glorious over the whole world. Bada boom, bada bing, pow. We just laid it down right there. We just laid it down. Praises to the Most High. Yeah. So now we see from east to the west, from west to the east, how the Most High dealt with both of us. On the land over there and the land over here, for our own sins and for us disobeying the Most High, and for us getting Brother Jesus crucified, which the Most High knew all of this was going to happen as part of the plan of redemption, to where he punished us with the Gentiles, aka the white folks. He sent them on us to fix us up spiritually, to make us repent, and to bless them so that he would be found just, because he gave them their time to rule the same way we had our time to rule. So all of this was a plan set up from the Most High, but to make us repent and to come back around. So now that he, like he told us, awake, O Jerusalem, he got us awakening so that now we can begin to usher back in the kingdom before the coming of Christ, the second go round, which we ain't got long, and it's in these books that it came forth lately. So I mean, he said we ain't gonna know the day of the year, the day or the hour, but he didn't say we won't gonna know the year. So this right here, now we can't blame the Gentiles, the white man, for what's going on. All we can do is thank the Most High. And like the brother said, the same way in Ecclesiasticus, the same way Baruch, and the same way in the prayer of Azarias, all we can do is thank the Most High. Because the Most High done woke us up and showed us the truth, and it showed us spiritually why we had to go through what we had to go through. For now, him to raise us back up, for us to put everybody else, the rest of the nations, in order. So now we got a job to do, like we read with Ephraim, in the land of Ephraim, and the Ephraimites. We got a job to raise the rest of the nations, our tribes, and everybody else back up through the word of the Most High. Being that Ephraim was spiritually the firstborn of the Most High. Alright, so now we doing our work, ushering in the kingdom. And you see everything that's going on? We read everything that happened after Brother Jesus was crucified, over there and over here. The same things is going on now that went on over here, whereas the natural disasters is all piling up, and we working. The messengers, the apostles, the prophets, the teachers, whatever you want to call yourself in your spirit that the Most High told you is, and they gave you a position in his kingdom to do his work, you either gonna do it or you gonna die. So the choice is yours, but the Most High gave us a position to where if it's in your spirit and he did put it on you that you know you got his work to do, now you see all that we done went through, why we had to go with we went through, to where now the ones that he got standing in their light in the end of days, he got a job to do to help Brother Jesus set up for the kingdom that he bringing to the earth. Peace, peace, peace. Pow.